Okay, so let's get started today. Have you all been to the gym already this morning? I'm just kidding. You see, many of us have made commitments to join the gym and to visit the gym and to work out at the gym and to get into shape. And we work really hard, oftentimes, to be able to truly take care of our bodies so we can be healthy and strong. And this is a beautiful way to be able to take care of ourselves, because if we are healthy and strong, then we're also psychologically healthy and strong, and we're able to retain and to be motivated and have a positive attitude. If a person feels sluggish and down, then we're not so excited. We don't have the energy to be able to function in a proper and a wholesome manner. So let's together go to the gym. And we're going to go to the mental gym. Maybe not a physical gym, but at least let's enter into this mental space. We're going to get this serious, beautiful mental workout. Okay, you ready? Today, we have a phenomenon where people tend to seek out different types of, I guess, for lack of a better purposes, different types of drugs, mushrooms, psychedelics, to try to help them function with the difficulties of their life. Now, I know anyone that is over the age of 50 is kind of laughing, because what kind of joke is that? That an American kid today will say that they had a hard life, compared to anyone that has really experienced life, really experienced, I don't know, depression or hunger or real serious recessions. Many of us either ourselves, or we know people who grew up in homes where there was not even one TV, forget about a TV in every room, grew up, today they say that people are searching up their food stamps balance on $1,000 phone. So the irony that we walk around with these luxury items in our pocket, that not only are they luxury items, but they're disposable. Every 2 years, we get a new luxury item like this. So the mindset today of someone that is going through a difficult time and they need to reset is almost a laughing matter. Nonetheless, it's a very serious matter, because today many people try to find themselves. And how do they try to find themselves? By oftentimes seeking out outside resources to help them achieve this a clearer and a more elaborate or more broader mindset. And to achieve that, people go to the easy fixes. What's an easy fix? Let me try some kind of substance that perhaps will add to my clarity of life. Now, I'm not saying necessarily that it's wrong and it should be banned and totally should be off the table. What I'm saying is, though, that how do we approach our challenges in life? Do we try to find an easy fix, or do we try to search and say, I'm going to work hard to find the answer? Now, taking substances is not necessarily either an easy fix, but certainly it does a lot of the work for you. Also, today, many people facing a challenge will immediately seek out some kind of therapy or therapist. Again, this is a very healthy and very important outlet. And the Torah encourages us to speak to someone when we are going through a difficult time. However, we can't forget that the ultimate ingredients for a personal growth is hard work. Not just any hard work, it's really hard work. And this is why I invite you to come with me to the gym. And let's go for a real workout. Not that somebody's going to be lifting the heavy weights for you, but I want each and every one of us to be prepared to take those heavy weights, truly heavy weights, and let's begin lifting. There are two areas where one needs to work on themselves, or one needs to truly strengthen their muscles. One is their physical self. Their physical self, our physical bodies, sometimes is the greatest hindrance from allowing us to truly grow and to truly be the best we can be. We convince ourselves of so many things that are not allowing us to be the best that we can be. I don't look nice. I don't have nice clothes. My hair is just, I'm having a bad hair day. I saw someone in the supermarket the other day that had a cap on. They said, bad hair day. So I told the lady, I said, I really like your hat. She says, oh yeah, it covers everything up. Yeah, it takes work to wash, set, but also we tell ourselves that today we're tired, today I'm sluggish, today I'm lazy, I don't have the strength. And what does this do to us? This allows our physical self to get in the way of us truly living the fullest life that we can live. That is the first area that one needs to work on. We have to work on our physical strength to be able to find and to be confident that we have the ability and capability to be able to get out there and to succeed. But then there's also the workout of the spirit to reveal the hidden treasure that's found inside of us. Too often, we walk around with this amazing amount of wealth that we don't even tap into. Not only we don't tap into it, we don't believe that it exists. We don't believe we have it. And then when you sit down, you have a nice conversation with someone, and somebody says, thank you very much. That was a wonderful conversation we just had. How do you take that compliment? Most people take the compliment in the wrong way. They said, that was really boring, right? They don't have that confidence that actually, yes, that was a wonderful conversation. And I contributed to that talk and I added something to it. So we need to find strength in spirit. That's the next step. There's a story that is told of the individual who had a dream that one night he saw that there was a treasure that was hidden beneath the bridge in the neighboring town. So this man got so excited. There's a treasure hidden beneath the bridge in the neighboring town. He gets up and he travels to the neighboring town and he finds that bridge that he saw in his dream, exactly how he saw it. And he notices that there's a guard standing by the bridge. So he says to himself, this must be true. It must be that there is a treasure beneath the bridge because there's a guard that is guarding this bridge. Otherwise, why else would a guard be by the bridge? And so he waits for the changing of the guards. And he notices after a couple of days that there's a half hour in between the changing of the guards. One guard leaves until the other one comes. There's a half an hour of time. And so he waits for that moment of time and he grabs his shovel and he begins to dig under the bridge. He's digging, digging, digging. All of a sudden, he's so preoccupied to digging, this guard comes and sees the man digging. He says, what are you doing? Why are you digging? He says, you really caught me and I know you can arrest me. Let's make a deal. I know that there's a treasure hidden beneath this bridge. If you don't arrest me, I promise you, I'll give you half of the treasure. At least I'll have half the treasure. So he is a rich guy. He already has all this money. So I'll give you half, no problem. So the guard starts to laugh. He says, why are you laughing? He says, because last night I had a dream that under the home of Chaim Yankel, there's a treasure hidden right beneath the Chaim Yankel's oven. So the guy looks at the guard. He says, I'm Chaim Yankel. He says, what town does Chaim Yankel live in? He says, he lives in the town of Brody. He says, I'm from Chaim Yankel, the town of Brody. He says, do you remember what street it is? Yeah, he says, it's on Main Street, right off of Broadway. He says, that's my house. I live, Chaim Yankel, Brody. I live right on Main Street off of Broadway. So the guard says, I had a dream that there's a treasure right hidden beneath, right behind the oven in your house. Chaim Yankel can't believe what he hears. He runs home, he moves the oven and he digs behind it, and sure enough, he finds a treasure right there in his house. This, of course, is just an analogy to tell us that we always have these dreams that, that person has it much easier than us. He could or she could achieve and master their own domain. They could control anything they need to control. They can become a better person. They can become a more giving, more affluent, more influential, a more caring individual. Me, I don't have that inside of me. I just don't have it. Comes the story and says, no, the treasure is hidden beneath each and every one of us. Not beneath us, it's hidden within each and every one of us. In our homes, we have this miniature world. We have it inside of us. And so we realize that we have the treasure inside of us. Now, we can take it to the next step. The next step is to reveal that treasure. And that requires us to put on our working boots, take out the shovel, and to start digging. How can I achieve this? So the Alter Rebbe tells us, the author of the Tanya in chapter 42 says that a person should spend at least 1 long hour every day contemplating on the greatness of God. In other words, he says, spend the time digging. Don't do it fast. Don't try to take any shortcuts, but truly put in the effort every single moment. And when we put in the effort, he says, you will see results. And it's true, he says. Some people have an easier time meditating or thinking about God for a long time. Some people have a much more difficult time. And it's true. Each and every person is different and unique in their own way. Some have it easier, some have it harder. Not even a question. We're not arguing that point. That's true. That's true. But it doesn't mean, and everybody can do it according to their own level, according to their own amount of time. Because we think we could only do it for 1 minute, then let's do it for 1 minute. Do you know what's bound to happen? The Alter Rebbe says you will then come to do it in 2 minutes, or for 5 minutes, or for 10 minutes. Slowly but surely, you're able to build up the stamina to be able to concentrate and meditate over the greatness of God. And you know what this will do for you? This will enhance your relationship and will reveal this beautiful soul powers that you have inside of you. And by revealing these inner soul powers, this will lead you to a stronger bond with Hashem, but more profoundly, this will lead you to a much happier existence, a more peaceful existence. But this comes about only through your own effort. In fact, it's not really a prayer, it's not a verse, it's kind of a quote, I guess a quote from the Talmud, that children throughout the world recite this quote. And it goes like this: Yagaiti velo matzasi al tamen. If you try and you do not succeed, do not believe. Lo yagaiti If you don't try and you succeed, don't believe. If you try and you succeed, believe. In other words, if you don't put in any effort and you succeed by not putting in any effort, don't believe. What does it mean, don't believe? Know that it's going to come and it's going to go and it's going to leave you as fast as it came to you. Don't believe that this is who you are, okay? If you try and you don't succeed, don't believe either. It's impossible for a person to try and not succeed. If you try, you will definitely succeed. But a person can say, I'm telling you, Rabbi, I tried. I tried one day, a week, a month, and I did not succeed. It's similar to a person who says that I had one drink and I didn't get drunk, or had 5 drinks and I didn't get drunk. There's a guarantee that you probably didn't drink enough. If someone wants to get drunk and they didn't get drunk over 5 drinks, they just have to drink more. So eventually it'll hit them. I'm not saying a person should get drunk. I'm just saying that the concept is that you probably didn't do it enough. So if you work and you didn't succeed, don't believe. You just have to work a little bit more, a little bit harder, and you will succeed. Therefore, it says, Yagaiti, if you work hard, you will and you succeeded, believe. Because hard work will undoubtedly guarantee bring success. I heard a good line today. How'd it go? Someone said he's been trying to get rich for 20 years and it hasn't worked yet. So he says, what was the line? Something to the effect, God didn't deny, he just delayed it. So we keep on trying, eventually it'll happen. And this is why it says, Yegaiti umatzasi tamen. There's a story of the great Chassid of the Alter Rebbe, his name is Shlomo of Karlin, that wanted to become the rabbi of the city of Beshenkovich. In White Russia, it's a big city, and the Alter Rebbe said, no problem, you can go be the rabbi of the city of Beshenkovich, but on one condition. You tell your followers the importance of hard work. Don't try to do the work for them. Don't say, I'm going to pray for you, I'm going to work for you, I'm going to study for you. No, it's up to each individual to do it on their own. And this really is the message that the Rebbe is telling us of what our task and our responsibility is, to take the bull by the horns, take the responsibility into our own hands, and we will succeed. How do we know we're going to succeed? Because it's already inside of you. It's not that you have to find somewhere, looking for a needle in a haystack. No, it's already inside of you. All you got to do is reveal what's already there. That's it. There's a story that is told of the students of the Alter Rebbe. There was one particular student who lived, I forget the name of the city that he lived in, but in this city, the name of the city was the city of Admor. That was the name of the city. And in the city, you had a Hasidic synagogue, and you also had another Hasidic synagogue from the students of his name was Chaim Chaikel. This Chaim Chaikel was a great individual, and he was the type of person that was always on fire. His prayers were on fire. And when he prayed, he was a flame. You saw the man. You saw the heat and the energy coming from this guy. And he taught his students to pray in the same manner. They would pray with such a fervor, such fire. They would be alive when they were sitting and praying. It was like you felt the excitement, you felt the energy. It was unbelievable. And the students of the Alter Rebbe would also pray with such excitement and fervor. But first, they would meditate over God. They would think about godliness and try to internalize it. And then after a few hours of internalizing it, then they would get into their prayers. But one day, the student of the Alter Rebbe noticed that his prayers some days are exciting, are full of energy, full of fire, and some days are not. More often than not, they're not full of excitement. He gets through the prayers. Before he turns around, the prayers are over. He said the words, but it wasn't full of his slavos. It wasn't full of this energy and this fire burning. He wasn't a flame. But this other guy, this student of Chaim Chaikel, he was every day, he was on fire. And so he came to the Alter Rebbe and he says, I don't understand. You teach us Chassidus, the depth of godliness. How is it that my prayers are mediocre at best? I meditate over God for a few hours before the prayer. When it comes to pray, it's just not with that excitement. But the other guy, every day, he's on fire. You should see him standing there shaking and just glowing and face red with intensity and connection. This man is on fire every day. By me, I'm not on fire. So Alter Rebbe said, it's true. What you're seeing is correct. Every day this man is on fire, and by you, just not this, you're not on fire every day. You try your best, but one day yes, one day no, 1 minute yeah, 1 minute no. It's up and down. It's a hit or miss. But you should know that the fire inside of that guy is Chaim Chaikel's fire. In other words, it's not his own fire, it's his teacher's fire inside of him. But when you pray, your 1 minute of excitement during your prayers, that is your prayer. You own that minute. Alter Rebbe was telling him a profound insight into how he sees and how we see life. Life comes in such a manner that we can either be inspired because someone else is inspired, or we can be inspired because we are inspired. And I ask you, which inspiration do you want? Your inspiration or someone else's inspiration? Have you ever been to a motivational speaker and that person's motivated, running around the stage, going from one side to the other, yelling and shouting and excitement, giving an analogy, a story, uplifting you. It's amazing. This person's full of energy. And you want to get some of that energy. But really, you don't want to get that person's energy. You want to find your own energy. You want to find your own excitement. Now, the Rebbe is telling us that we have to recognize that we can take ownership of that energy. We have it inside of us. It's part of us, and we could take ownership. Let it be your fire. And indeed, 1 moment of your fire is worth much more than a whole day of someone else's fire, someone else's excitement. There's a story of the Tzemach Tzedek. When he came to his grandfather, the Alter Rebbe, to be blessed for his birthday, the Alter Rebbe said, I want to give you a blessing in success and learning. The Tzemach Tzedek said, thanks, but no thanks. I want to have to work for my learning. If you give me a blessing for success, I will surely succeed. I want it to come through hard work, which is what you teach us. Comes the Tzemach Tzedek years later and says he made a grave mistake. Yes, of course, he wants to work hard for his teachings, and that does not stop, and he doesn't regret that idea, that concept, that he had intentions to work hard. But his mistake was by thinking that he can do without the blessing, because with the blessing and with hard work, he would be 10 times more successful. So we need outside help, absolutely. We need someone else's motivation, someone else's energy, absolutely. But let's not translate that as our own. We also need to make our own excitement, our own energy. So what motivates us? What gets us going to recognize this. Comes out to Rebbe and says, let's bring the verses that we say during our high holiday services. And it says that Ayin Roya, the eye sees, Va'ezah Shemas, and the ear hears. Chol Masecha, the Sefer Chtav, all your deeds are written in the great book. When we contemplate that God sees everything, God hears everything, everything is written, all of a sudden we start to tremble in our boots. We start to say, wait a second, I better start doing what I need to do. I better start behaving or start living the life that I need to live, the way I'm supposed to live, the way God wants me to live. And this helps us. Why do I need to remember, or how can I always remember that God is with me and that God sees and God hears everything? Very simple. This comes back to the fundamentals. The fundamentals are that we, each and every one of us, is a part of God. God is inside of us. God is within us. God is us. We are simply God's messengers, God's partners here on earth to fulfill that which God needs us to do or wants us to do. So when we realize and we internalize this, that we're not some separate being independent of God, but we are part of God's mission. God handpicked us today to be alive for a purpose, for a reason, to do something. And when we internalize this, there's no way we can come to any other conclusion other than let me get up and live the best life, the best day, the best energy, the way I can live. And so sometimes we need to awaken within us this innate awe of God that is inside of us. So we have the lower level of awe, as we mentioned, that's understanding that God is the master of the world, and we should obey him. This understanding is the basis for serving God. There's a God in the world, and we obey God. Without it, all of our efforts are incomplete. Right? We're going to ask, why am I doing it? If I don't believe in God, I don't believe there's a God here. God doesn't know. God doesn't care. Why am I doing it? So the first thing is to recognize, certainly, there's a God that cares about us, that is engaged in this world, and that partners with us, or allows us to partner with him to do our job. As such, we have to invest time and spiritual labor to acquire the level of awe of God, the lower level of awe. Some of us, it's automatic. I know God exists. Some of us, it takes a little more effort. We have to seek it, and we will find it. But once it is achieved, we train ourselves to hold it in our hearts constantly. Then you have the higher level of awe. The higher level is understanding that God is continually bringing all of creation into existence. Not that God was here one day and now he's gone, but that God is continuously involved with open eyes and bringing existence into this world. How? From nothing. God recreates the world every moment. And when we internalize this and think about this, wow, God recreated the world and he put me back in this world, even though a minute earlier I was wasting my time. And maybe he should not have had so much compassion upon us to put me back in this world. But God did. I must live up to God's expectation of me. And this is the highest level of godliness, this is the highest level of awe of God that we can achieve. And this comes about primarily through hard work, by digging deep down inside of us and recognizing and believing and knowing with absolute certainty that God is within us, part of us, and giving us the mojo to be able to continue to live an inspired life. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Thank you.